Hello everyone! This is me again, your teacher Jen, and I am here para explain naman sa inyo ang second part ng the Quake starts, which is about active and inactive faults. Tara, pag-usapan na natin to. Do you remember the word fault line? We describe it in the first video about earthquakes and fault as the trace of the fault on the surface of the earth. It could also be defined as a geological fracture wherein the movement of masses of rock has displaced parts of the earth's crust. Ibig sabihin, ang fault line ay ang bakas or palatandaan ng isang fault. A rapid movement of a fault may produce a powerful energy that can trigger a strong earthquake. Faults can be classified into two. We have the active faults and inactive faults. Now let's discuss how these two differ from each other. Active faults are structure along which we expect displacement to occur. At bakit naman dito natin na-expect na mangyayari yung displacement of rocks or parts of the Earth's crust? Simply because an active fault has generated earthquakes before and is capable of causing more in the future. Faults are commonly considered to be active if there has been movement observed or evidence of seismic activity during the last 10,000 years. Effects of movement on an active fault include strong ground motion, surface faulting, tectonic deformation, landslides, rock falls, liquefaction, tsunamis, and seiches. And when we say inactive faults, these are structures that we can identify but which do not have earthquakes. If a fault has been inactive for millions of years, it's certainly safe to call it inactive. So, for us to be able to say that a fault is inactive, we have to observe it sa napakahabang panahon. Imagine, millions of years.
What?
Do you live near an active fault? Scientists use different ways to find out if a fault is active. One is by checking the country's historical records. Historians always write about destructive events such as earthquakes. Another is by studying the vibrations, past and present, that come from faults. Still, another way is by observing the surroundings. Kasi katulad nga ng sabi natin, there are traces of faults that can be found on the surface of the earth. At ito na nga yung fault line. We can observe that a fault may cross a road, and because of that, the road is displaced. Or, a fault may cut across a stream, and the stream channel is then shifted. Or, a fault may slice through mountains and form cliffs. Suppose a house was built on a fault. As the ground shifts little by little, parts of the house will be affected. You will see that the floor will crack, doors will not close, and the roof may start to leak. Obviously, it is important to know the location of active faults. And as far as possible, no important structures should be built near or on them. PHIVOX has a map that shows the active faults in the Philippines. The solid lines in the map are the active faults. There are 5 most active faults in the Philippines, namely Western Philippine Fault, Eastern Philippine Fault, South of Mindanao Fault, Central Philippine Fault, and Marikina or Valley Fault System. Now, look at it closely and try to find out where you live. I found mine in Quezon Province. We have 3 active faults here, the Infanta Fault, Guinyangan Fault, and Central Marinduque Fault. How about you? Is there an active fault passing by your town, province, or region? If so, are you and your family prepared for the occurrence of an earthquake? No one knows when an earthquake occurs, and no one can stop it from happening. But there are things that people can do to avoid or reduce loss of life and damage to properties. The first step is what you are doing now. Have a clear understanding of the occurrence of earthquakes. Second is to know what to do before, during, and after earthquake. Third step is to prepare your emergency kit. And of course, always be alert. pray, and have faith that God is with you. So now, go to this link and know what to do before, during, and after earthquake. Thank you for watching!